What is going on, everybody? I have been playing Far Cry New Dawn for a little while. I wanted to play it for a bit before I gave my opinion on it, just to make sure I got into it a little bit. And I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of negative reviews about it. And I've listened to their points and everything. I disagree with a lot of them. And I'm having fun playing the game. I'm actually very surprised at the overwhelmingly negative response to this. I'm going to try to tackle a couple of those things here. Basically, first rule is if you played Far Cry 5 and you enjoyed it, definitely play Far Cry New Dawn. It not only does it come in at a lower price point, it's $39.99, I believe, for the entire game, which is basically like buying one big, large DLC. And I'm talking large like, Fallout 4, I think it was, or 3, whichever one had I think it's Fallout 3. It had the really big DLCs. It had like 4 of them. One of them was like something Harbor, and it was huge. I mean, absolutely huge. You got those for the online pass, but anyway, I digress. This is basically like a big add-on, not a new game, but it's definitely a direct sequel to Far Cry 5. And because they use the same map, which they were very upfront about in the beginning, they're charging a less amount for it because it's not a completely new game. It does have some new systems, a few new weapons, mostly older ones, but we'll get into how that works, as we go here. So, the setup for this story is a warning for the end of Far Cry 5. If you haven't beaten it yet and are sensitive to spoilers, stop listening for about 10 seconds. At the end of Far Cry 5, the nuclear bombs are dropped. It seems like no matter what you do, that's going to happen. Joseph Seed drops the bombs, and this story picks up after that, about 7 years, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, maybe even. I forget exactly how many years. But it picks up after it when everybody is trying to put their life back together. So it's kind of a kind of Mad Max-ish, except everything isn't all desert. You can see the forest and the wildlife. The wildlife has started to take back the areas. Some people have started to rebuild. Some people are better at things than others. Stuff like that. That's the basic premise. So it's still in the same map, of course. It's on the same area. It's the same place where everything else took down from Far Cry 5. Here you can see the home base. Home base has a lot of different areas. Okay, like healing garden here. And it's got weapons crafting station. Big old weapons over there. It's got
Hi there, mister.
infirmary. All this stuff adds things to you. You can upgrade them. Like right now it tells you current level. This improves your maximum health, the infirmary. Right now I'm at plus 150%. And if I get another 200
Hell of a day.
250 plus jugs of ethanol, I can upgrade it, and my next one will go to plus 200% health. It's like that for every one of the stations. You upgrade it, you can do a little more. Explosive labs, you can carry more explosives, make different explosives. The healing garden, I think, is how much the medkits, how much the medkits heal you. They're pretty self-explanatory. There's a cartography station which unlocks different maps that you can purchase. Stuff for different elements on the map. So let's take a look at the map. Alright, now it is basically the same map from Far Cry 5. But if you notice, a lot of the stuff that you will come to look at, it looks completely different. And unless you compare them side by side, things aren't even in the same location. I wouldn't have been able to tell if they hadn't have told me right away that it was the same map. Because I don't do that. I don't go back and compare maps to see if they line up with whatever. So it's basically everything looks different. Even if you come across an area that you have seen before,
Got
it
some basic
looks
vehicles ready for you.
different.
If you need 'em.
because before was before the ending of Far Cry 5, and afterwards now it's all lush and there's foliage everywhere. This is actually one of the end of the world games that is very bright and colorful rather than doomsday scenario where everything's all trashed out and rotten. Everything seems to be back on the rise. The Northern Lights effect too, I think, is very cool.
Damn it, Kim.
I don't know if they have a story for that. I haven't come across it, whether that's radiation going into the atmosphere causing these lights, or I don't know. But they look like the Northern Lights, so that's what I'm going to call them.
All these people.
So your main mission is to upgrade Prosperity to help you. You can upgrade the main base as well, which gives you more upgrades, stuff like that. Alright, so some of the negative things people have talked about. I talked about with the map being the same, everything looking the same. I don't really understand that mindset, but okay. To each their own, right? Alright, weapons. So now you have to craft your weapons instead of just buying them. And crafting them comes just to basically get what materials you need. Materials are everywhere. Like, that's another thing I'm going to touch on in a minute, is the monetization, the microtransactions that they have. Not necessary. You don't need them. They're there basically to tempt you to skip ahead in the game, but if you're enjoying the game, why would you do that? The only person I can think of that would want to skip ahead in the game is somebody who needed to beat it right away. And, that's for, people who want to refine it. I'm sorry. I just saw refinery and that's what I said. People who want to review it, like, before anybody else may want it. But, I mean, literally, you can buy maps that show you where all the stuff is you need for everything. And whatever you can't find out in the open, you can get. Again, don't use the microtransactions. Hold on. I haven't played this in a few days and my buttons are all backwards because I've been playing other games here. You can get from stuff like animal skins. You can hunt for animal skins and get every material. The only thing you can't get from animals or from finding, the only thing you can't get from animals is ethanol. Ethanol is scarce in the game. The only way to really get that is to take over outposts or hijack an ethanol truck, but you also can't buy ethanol in the microtransactions, so it's the only way in the game to get it. Anything else, gears, these craft boxes, duct tape, spring, everything, the titanium, all this stuff can be gotten by either just gathered, found, or you can go, I'm going to show you here, if you go to sell, you know what, I think if I go to inventory it'll show me, right? That's the wrong button, I gotta stop doing that. Inventory, yes. If we go to animal skins down here, if you take a look, it tells you, is this where it tells you? Yeah, up at the top it'll tell you what you get when you trade it in. Right there are some crafting boxes. There, I'm having a hard time. That is copper. There's some gears right there. There's some black powder. Duct tape right there. Titanium. One of the things you need to make weapons you can get from wolf skins, or I know black bears. Yep, you get a higher amount from black bears. And by the way, anytime you need these animals, just buy one of the wildlife things from the cartography station. It lights them all up on your map. And you can just go there and, like every other Far Cry game, when you're in an area where the animals are supposed to be, just throw some meat on the ground. They'll come by, you kill them rather quickly most of the time, and you'll get whatever resource you need when you trade it in at any outpost. Doesn't have to be here at the main one. It can be at any liberated outpost. So, I'm going to show you that for a minute, and then I'll come back and talk to you about a few more things. But let me show you what I mean. Let's say I don't have any titanium at all, which is used to create weapons. Which, actually, before I do that, let me show you what the crafting system looks like. It's basically like basic crafting systems from other games.
I'm doing my best to control.
You need certain objects. Titanium is needed for every weapon. It just matters how much. Like even if you're gonna make, I think a regular melee stick, you still need titanium. And once you've made it once, you can get it whenever you want again. So, not like you have to keep recrafting these things. See, that's what they try to hit you with, right there. Oh, if you want this right now, even though you're not a level 3 workbench and you don't have the items for it, you can buy it for 250 credits. Now, why would you do that? You don't need that unless you want to shortcut your way through the game and go almost God mode for no reason and not have any fun. That's just not, I mean, it's just not worth it. Not if you're really interested in playing the game. You have to have other motives for it. Plus, you will find some Far Cry credits along the way in every one of those loot bunkers that give you perk points, just like in 5. They will have a stack of Far Cry credits. I think I've gotten all the loot bunkers, and I think I can't remember exactly, but I think I got around 500, 600 credits just for that. And I spent some to buy a helicopter. Just because I didn't have the items and I had the Far Cry credits, I didn't have to purchase them. I bought a helicopter so it would be faster to get around. You can do that if you want. Like I said, you're going to get about 500-600 total from all the different loot bunkers. But you don't have to. You can hang on to them. Like I have 55 right now. You can see in the upper right hand corner. I'm not using them for anything right now. I don't even think I can get anything for 55, so they're just going to stay there because I am not buying any. So unless I find some more out in the open, I'm going to have 55 for the rest of the game. So yeah, I'm at current level 2, and this is all done, like I said, the way you're supposed to do it in-game. I have not bought anything except for the helicopter, and like I said, that was all credits that I found, not credits that I bought. So I haven't spent any extra money on this game at all. Everything you can see if you need it. Like say I wanted to make this gun right here. If you have a little tool symbol on it, you got enough. I could make this right now. And something you want to make, if you don't have the amount, you can just look and see, oh look, I need more gears. Oh, where can I get gears? Well, I could do animal skins, or maybe there's a place on the map near me that has gears. I've cleaned out a lot of the areas near me, so I have to go a little further than most would have to, because I've gone around and there's some crates, there's some duct tape. This area over here is where I haven't gotten a lot to yet. There's some springs, gears look just like the picture. I did go around grabbing a lot of gears lately, but there's some places I haven't been, and like I said, you can get gears from animal skins too. So, there's some gears right there. Duct tape and blah blah. So you get the point. You can get pretty much everything. Alright, I kind of got lost here in that discussion. What I was going to do, I'll show you how to get ethanol. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick trip over to one of the outposts, and I'm going to show you a couple ways you can do it. So hang on for a second. We're going to fast travel real quick through the magic of editing, and I'll see you. Okay, so on my way, I found a truck here. Oops, I had to look off screen for a minute. Hit the record button. I found a truck here that you can hijack that usually gives you some good stuff out of the back. I'm going to show you. Chances of me running into another one of these when I really want to, probably not good. They just come up randomly. Whenever you come across one. See, I'm in the basic helicopter. You gotta basically shoot the driver so that the truck will stop. And the chopper is a little bit slower than the truck. I'm trying to get in low enough where I can get a shot on him. You don't want to blow up the truck. Jesus, the handgun I'm using. Freaking revolver. This thing is powerful. Didn't realize. Really? I gotta repair you first before I can open it? Ah, that reminds me of another thing people have complained about. Perks. About how you have to get basic perks. Ooh, titanium. Good. Something to go home. Alright, so anyway, another thing people complained about is perks. They said that basic things that you had in the other game that you now have to buy, like binoculars. They're right. You do have to purchase it through the perk system. The thing they're not telling you is you get perks for everything in this game. I mean, literally, there are challenges that pop up. Here, let me show you real quick. Yeah, wrong button again. Damn it. All these challenges that I've completed, every single one of these, you can see, give you 1 perk, 2 perks. 1 perk point, 2 perk points, 2 perk points. So they go down to 3 perk points. And these are basic things. Like, kill one of these guys for the first time. Kill somebody with a knife for the first time. Kill somebody with a melee weapon so many times. And you can look under different categories to see. Now, see, mine are a little low in the weapons right now because I've done a lot of them. But because I've done a lot of them, take a look at my perk menu here. I do go by it. I do have a hard time seeing. There we go. Look, I've got 1 of every perk, and I'm not even near close to finishing it. So some of them you can upgrade more than once, like here, your lung capacity. And look, I've got 12 available perk points I didn't even know I had. They just come through. So I am going to do. Let's see, I got 4. I'm gonna do more light ammo, more heavy ammo, and more med packs. Okay, came across another one on the way. This is the ethanol truck one. Let's see if I can pull this one off. This can be tougher. These explode very quickly because obviously ethanol is flammable. But they're definitely worth it because ethanol is one of the harder things to get. Not harder, but you have to do more to get it, basically. It's not just laying around at any given place. It's always going to be either through an outpost or by taking one of these trucks. Up a little bit here, I don't want to miss. Blow this truck up. Very easy to handgun. Before I learned. This one's too powerful. Broke a lot of damage fairly quickly. Nope. Fire on the side of the truck because I missed. Careful of that. Oh, got it. Land. Take care of the guy protecting it. And you can fix this. Repair any vehicle. Oh yeah, I had almost no energy. So, we're going to repair this until it's full. And then we're going to drive it back to... You can take it basically to any liberated outpost. So, we're going to do that. It highlights one automatically, whatever your closest one is. It's the blue icon. Oh, Jesus. I'm like right at one. That never happens. That's awesome. Alright, so take the road just around the corner. The entrance. It'll take you right up. The garage just goes in and this is exit vehicle to drop off. Get ethanol. Yeah, right there. As soon as it tells you to exit the vehicle. You do. And badink-a-donk. 75 ethanol right there. Alright. Back to the outpost. Here we go. Okay, so I made it to an outpost I have not claimed yet. Like I said, if You get the binoculars fairly quickly. Oh shit, that was an accident. Oh, I just blew this whole thing by. Somebody's definitely on alert now. Alright, so we're gonna go in full guns blazing, I guess. Then I was gonna try to be stealthy, but screw that. Take them over the normal way. Kill everybody in the area. Do it quietly. You get bonus ethanol. I'm not gonna get that on this one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to the end part. Hold on 1 second. I'll speed it up a little. So if you haven't guessed anyway, the pig is mine. He's been helping me. He's my comrade here, whatever they call him. So yeah, you take over the base. Easy peasy. You're gonna get 100 ethanol right there. I would have gotten a bonus of I think 50 if I had taken it silently, which I messed up. Alright, now here's the beauty of it, right? You can go to a base after you've taken it over. You can hit scavenge, right? If you scavenge, it will get you an extra 50, and then tougher opponents will come and retake the base, and it'll have you retake it over again, and you'll get another 100 or 150. I don't know, you get a little more for taking it the second time. I'm going to fast forward to the end here, see how much I get for the second time. You can do this up to 3 times at each outpost. So ethanol isn't really a worry either. Plus, you get achievements for taking it over the second time, the third time, because every time it gets harder. The enemies get tougher. I don't suggest doing it the third time until you have weapons that are of the 3rd grade as well. Just like I wouldn't suggest going after anything gold until you have gold weapons. It just makes it easier. It's kind of like, almost like levels in a role-playing game. But here, let's fast forward to the end and see what we get for retaking the outpost the second time. Scavenging. Hold on 1 second. Okay, stay nearby current position. So, right there. Alright, here we go. Let's do it again. Fast forward to the end.
That's a big ass pig.
Okay, I apologize for that. If anybody saw that video error, I'm not sure. I was talking, basically, for the last part. Let me double check a couple things here. I was just talking, but my video wigged out. On a side note, if anybody out there knows if there's a way to combat this problem, I'm using an Elgato HD60, which I love very much, but it's only 1080p. And when I take my Xbox One X and I put the 4K signal through the 1080p, and it downgrades it and then puts it to my TV, which then tries to upgrade it back to 4K, it doesn't always work, and sometimes I get these distorted video signals, and it just looks terrible. Doesn't happen all the time, but once in a while. I would love to get an Elgato 4K. I think they have some on the market, but they're super expensive right now. At least for me, they're super expensive. So, I don't know if anybody knows a way around that, other than hooking it up to, obviously, a 1080p TV. I don't have one. I have my 4K TV, and that's it. That's what I use. So, anyway, we were talking about liberating the bases, and I got an extra, in case you missed it, I got an extra 250 It was 200 for retaking the base, and plus the 50 I got for scavenging it. I would have gotten an extra 50 bonus if I had done the stealth and stuff like that, you know. I kind of got off on a tangent there for a bit, talking about the main villain in this one seeming to be the only downside for me, because they don't seem like a main villain. They seem like henchmen that you would go through to get to the main villain. They're not evil enough. That's what I'm getting at. Like all the other ones, like, I hate to use him as an example, Voss, because everybody uses him as their favorite villain from the series, which I understand. I mean, he was just, on a scale of 1 to 10, he was like a 15. I mean, he had it all. He was narcissistic, he was psychotic, he was manipulative, and he was a lunatic. I mean, you never knew what he was going to do. He could go from talking to you normal to trying to rip your heart out the next. And something about the visuals, his eyes, he looked like a lunatic, all right? 4 was the blonde-haired guy, seemed to be more of an intellectual type of bad guy. He was all right, but he was scheming, and he made you want to get him because he was always scheming behind you, talking good at you, talking at you intellectually like he respected you, and then going around doing something just pure evil to the villagers or whatever, all claiming it in the name of, rebuilding or fair play or what, I don't remember exactly. So he was a little manipulative. Not as good as Voss. I don't think anybody has been since. Far Cry 5, I did like Joseph Seed. I liked him a lot. I like to hate him a lot because he was a religious cult leader, obviously. He had the charm, he was manipulative, and he was a bit psychotic. I don't think he was particularly intelligent. He was definitely intelligent enough to get people to follow him for what he needed. So he was pretty good too. Alright, so the only lack thereof of the main villain in this one is the fact that they don't seem to set themselves apart from the rest of the gang. So far, and I admit I have not done a lot of story missions yet. I've done some here and there, but mostly I've been sticking to recruiting people from my roster, building up my base, crafting weapons, yada yada, stuff like that. But so far, anytime I've interacted with them on the radio or in person, they're pretty much just like a couple of henchmen. The only reason you can tell them different is because they're twins, and they wear different clothes. Like you can tell, they're definitely the leader because they're set apart from all the people that look the same. But they don't have anything special about them, that special evil that makes you really want to get them. I do want to get them and stop their gang, but I want to step them just to stop their gang. It's not like I have an extra incentive to go after them personally. Does that make sense to anybody out there? I mean, I want to feel, when it comes to the main person doing the wrong, I want to feel extra like, okay, now that I've taken care of everything and everybody's safe, I'm coming after you because it's personal. I don't feel that with them, at least not yet. Maybe that'll come as I get further into the missions. So I think I've rambled on enough here. I don't want to take up any more of your time. So bottom line, definitely if you like Far Cry 5, take a stab at this. It was $39.99. It might even be on discount now. Everything seems to be getting discounted fairly quickly. God, what did I just see the other day that showed up? Just Cause 4 already arrived in Game Pass. And that's not even that old. I also you can pick up, what was it? I picked up some recent game at 65% off, and it just came out like a month or so ago. I can't remember what it is. So if you're at all still on the fence, just wait until it's cheaper. If you like the Far Cry series and you didn't hate Far Cry 5, absolutely give this one a shot. This one is just as much fun as Far Cry 5. They changed up some stuff that I pointed out earlier. And other than that, I mean, they even left the co-op in. So, I mean, it's a good time. For $39.99, absolutely. Would I have bought it for $60? Or, you know, 62 plus, you know, if I had to buy DLC and stuff afterwards? No, probably not. But for $39.99, consider this a continuation of Far Cry 5, a very large DLC for $39.99, and it's bigger than most. I mean, it is its own separate game. It's not as long as 5. It seems to be about half as long from people I've talked to. So that's why I'm considering it a DLC and not just a direct sequel full game, which is, I think, what some people were looking forward to. I'm not sure exactly how they got that from what they were showing. I mean, they said it was going to be based after Far Cry 5, that it would be using the same map. Right there, it tells you that it's not a completely new game. And that it was going to deal with the aftermath. So, I mean, from the start, it sounded like it was a continuation, or, you know, a DLC, or a separate, you know, set of levels. A continuation of the story and not a whole new Far Cry game, because you're not in a new setting with, you know, all new area, new island, new... You do have a new character in this one, because, like, it's 20 years later, and who knows what happened to the other guy. So, anyway, I hope that helps you guys. I will get better at the reviews, I promise. I know I rambled a bit on this, but you know what? I mean, I just want to talk straight with you and tell you what I've heard from people who think that it's not worth it, and what I feel and the contrast between the two. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was informative. I hope you subscribe and like or dislike, and in the comment below, let me know why you didn't like it, or let me know why you did like it. You know, either way. So, I will talk to everybody again soon. I'm going to finish up this one, and I have got many, many, many challenge tombs for Tomb Raider to go through, because I missed quite a few. I'm going to throw those up on the channel very shortly. So, I will talk to everybody later, and I hope everyone has a great one.